If you've left a corporate job or you're thinking of leaving and going out and working for yourself, here are 5 things that I wish I knew before I started doing the same thing. Hi, my name's Mark Egan. I used to work as a journalist for people like the BBC. Now I run an online education business from right here at home in London. So a few years back, I left my job. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted the freedom to be my own boss. You know the story. But when I stepped out into the real world, it was a rude awakening because things work differently. And here are the things I wish I had understood then that I want you to understand now. Okay, first, the title shield effect. So in a sense, when you work like I worked for the BBC, if I introduced myself to somebody, I would say I worked for the BBC. That's my credibility sorted. They know what I do. That's kind of my identity. But when you leave, that all falls away. I remember the first time going back to the BBC building and having to sign in as a visitor. It's like weird. It's like my identity's been taken from me. So once you've left and you've given up that identity, what you then have to do is find a new way of introducing yourself and make sure that it gives you credibility, because you don't have the built-in authority of the big brand name that you used to work for, the big company. So one of the first things you have to do is come up with some kind of value statement of, I help people achieve this, and it's not based on who you work for, it's based on what you do. So second problem, mistaking tasks for value. So when you're in a job, you go and you do tasks and your manager maybe gives you things to do, and at the end of the day you get paid because you've completed all these different tasks and you've got skills to complete those tasks. And when you go out into the outside world, it's very tempting to give people almost like a menu of all the tasks that you can do and all the skills that you have. But that's not value. What people pay for is the outcome that you provide. So when you're trying to explain to people what value you offer, you need to, instead of talking about the way you do it and the tasks and the skills you have, you need to explain it in a way of, I can do this for you. So for example, I do lots of training to do with AI at the moment. So I'm on Zoom speaking to major organizations, broadcasters, you name it, teaching them about AI. Now, they don't really care how I'm delivering it, what skills I've got, all that. What they want is for their staff to be up to date with the latest AI and be able to prompt more effectively and that kind of thing. So they're not interested in my skills. They're interested in what I can do for them, what transformation I can create for them. So it's a slight reframing of how you explain your value. Okay, the next thing is not building a personal brand. So when you work for a big organization and you apply for jobs, you might put in your CV, your resume, whatever you want to call it, and you'll get jobs. And nowadays, yes, they do look you up and that kind of thing. But the way you get work and the way you get contracts and the way people know about you when you are working for yourself is to be more of a creator than a consumer. So instead of just scrolling hours and hours and hours through, TikTok or Instagram, yes, I do that myself as well. But you need to be putting stuff on LinkedIn and putting yourself out there, because that's one of the main ways that you can be found. Because when people look you up to find out about you, you need to make sure you are controlling that narrative. And it's not, your HR file that's going to determine whether people think you're good or not. It's, do you have content out there they can consume and learn from? So you need to be much more of a content creator, putting stuff out there rather than consuming and relying on your LinkedIn profile and a kind of resume. Okay, fourth point, not being able to see the wood from the trees. So you are probably the absolute worst person to understand your value, because you've got unique experiences. You have got skills. You've gone through situations and challenges and come out the other side. And those are the kind of things which come naturally to you. So, for example, I do lots of training on things like Zoom. I deliver workshops all over the world, got clients all over the world. And, sometimes somebody will come with a question about Zoom or structuring a workshop. Now, for me, that comes naturally. So it's not something I think has any value. But then, I notice people asking me lots of questions about that. So clearly, it's something that not everybody knows innately. In the same way, there will be things that you do, but often you are the worst person to understand that. So when you go out and promote your value, often you're tied to your job role that you did in the past, or there are things that you just undervalue. And one of the best ways to get around this is to speak to former colleagues or friends and get them to almost do an analysis, get them to say, act as my agent. How would you sell me? What am I really good at? Because often there'll be things that you don't really value yourselves. And even when you start getting clients and customers say, why did you book me? Why specifically me? And often they will say, oh, it's because this, or your training is really entertaining, or I love the way that you work with our clients. So the value that you have, you are often the worst person to judge that. So ask other people to help you figure that out. Okay, and the fifth one is about how you price things. Because again, when you're in a job, you're trading time for money. And it's very tempting when people start asking you, oh, how much is that going to cost? That you say, well, that will take half a day, so this is my day rate. And day rates in certain fields, you have to use them. Often people come in too low. It's rather go high and bring it back down again. But it's better to actually try and charge on a project basis or outcome basis, because it's not really about your time for money. It's about all the, the knowledge, experience, and skills you're bringing to solve a problem or help people with something. So what I would suggest is have a look at what other people are charging, see what you think it's worth, but don't come in really, really low. Don't think, oh, I'm desperate, whatever, I'll do lots of really low paid jobs, because then you will attract low paying clients, and often they're more hard work than the ones who pay higher prices. Rather stick to your guns and get fewer clients who are paying, decent prices than a lot of clients paying really low prices where you end up feeling burnt out and resentful. Now, personally, I think the best way to harness your expertise and knowledge and have a kind of a lifestyle business is to teach online virtually. And that's what I was forced to do when lockdowns happened. I had to switch to teaching online, running workshops. And the thing about it is, lifestyle wise, I don't have to be on a plane every day, traveling somewhere different. I can have clients all over the world. And it's just fun. Once you get confident on camera and you know how to structure a workshop, it's a great way to impact more people in more countries, have a profitable business, and you can do it from home. So if you've got kids or you want to spend more time with your family and loved ones, it allows you to do that. So if you're interested in doing that, I've got free training, and if you can join my community, you'll see a link in the description below. Join that. I'd love to see you inside, but I want to help you to uncover the value that you absolutely have. You have value. Your skills, experience are needed. Somebody out there needs it and they're willing to pay for it. And I want to help you find that.